Mercury will be stationed retrograde in the signs of Virgo and Leo from August 5th to August 28th, 2024. And for some of y'all, that means your exes might be coming back either physically or emotionally. So let's talk about what you need to do if and when that happens. Hi, my loves. My name is Dheandra Nicolette, and on my channel, we chat everything spirituality, life, literally all of the things. And today we're chatting about Mercury retrograde, but specifically, we're talking about the concept of exes coming back. So honestly, even if it's not retrograde when you are watching this video, or even if you just don't care about astrology and Mercury retrograde, that's totally fine. But if you are concerned about exes coming back, or if this is something that you are thinking you might have to deal with in the future, definitely tap in, watch this video. We're going to talk about that. Grab a little snack, okay? A little water, a bottle of water, if you will, and let's go ahead and get into this video. And of course, if you like this content, if you like my vibe, all of the things, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel and share this video with a friend who you think might enjoy or might need this video. Let's go ahead and dive in. Okay, so first I want to talk about what a retrograde is and what it means for Mercury to be stationed retrograde, because this happens a couple of times a year. So whenever Mercury or any other planet is station retrograde, or people say it is retrograde, it means that it appears to be going backwards in the sky. It actually isn't moving backwards, like that's not a thing, but it just appears. It's like an optical illusion. But the energy of any retrograde, whether it's Mercury, Saturn, Pluto, literally any planet, is that during a retrograde period, you are kind of like retroactively revisiting things. And this is why a lot of times when Mercury is stationed retrograde, we hear about exes coming back. And this can literally mean that people are reaching out to you, they're texting you, they're popping up, but it could also mean that they are popping up in your mind. Like they're popping up in your dreams, they're popping up in your head, you're thinking about the old times, that kind of vibe. It doesn't always mean that they're showing up physically in your space. Retrogrades are really good times to revisit things. So this is about going through, kind of combing through the details, making sure that everything is like tip-top shape, especially because part of this retrograde takes place in the sign of Virgo, and Virgo is all about the details. Like Virgo is very concerned about analyzing things, making sure that everything is like in place at the right time. It's like very, orderly, if you will. And so with a Mercury retrograde station in the sign of Virgo, it means that right now we are really going over a lot of things from our past, or even in our current lives. It means that as things are popping up, whether you're signing contracts or you're doing anything new that requires communication and the adherence to details, you are making sure that you're combing through everything with a fine-tooth comb. There are a lot of people that will suggest that you shouldn't ever start anything during a retrograde period, and I would disagree with that, because if we were to pause our lives for every single Mercury retrograde or any other retrograde that we're going on, we would literally never be doing anything because Mercury stations retrograde so many times per year that it literally is like you can't stop yourself from like getting married during a retrograde, or like buying a house or buying a car or starting a new job. Like certain things just can't be done outside of a retrograde period if you don't have time to actively plan that. So the only thing I would say is that during a retrograde period, it's really important to make sure that you are truly combing through the details of whatever thing you're going to sign, start, or do, and making sure that you understand it. I've only had one time where a significant ex popped back up, and we actually ended up getting back together. So I do think that sometimes someone popping back up can be a signal that maybe there's something more for you guys to explore there in that particular relationship. But a lot of times we have exes pop back up, whether again it's physically or in our dreams or our mental state, because there's something there that we need to process. So this particular retrograde period, I would say if you are thinking about an ex, or you're thinking about a previous relationship, maybe it's not even in a romantic relationship, but maybe it's a friendship that ended or something that happened, this could be a really good time for you to actually like sit with what happened and think about your feelings of it. Feel through, is there anything that's unprocessed here? Is there anything that you still feel angry about, sad about, confused about? And is there any way that you can gain that closure on your own without having to reach back out to that person? Because you might actually be the person that wants to reach out to someone versus that person reaching out to you. A lot of times, especially when there is lingering love still there for that person, when you are reminiscing on the connection itself, we can go to this place of that person is popping back up in my dreams. Oh my God, that's a sign that we need to be together. And it's 11:11 when I like thought about this. Like, we're putting things together and we're kind of linking things that have no true connection because we still haven't fully processed what has happened with that relationship. I'd also say this is a really good time to remember not to romanticize the past. What can happen when we start to think about exes and past relationships is we think about the really good times. Like, y'all know when you've gone through a breakup and you literally can only remember the good times. You're not remembering the times when they were mean to you. You're not remembering the times that they forgot your birthday. You're not remembering the times that they just weren't a good partner. All you're doing is remembering the times when they were really good to you and you were on a high with them and you're almost wanting to get back to that. Sometimes what we need to remember is that we are not necessarily craving the relationship with that particular person, but we are craving the way that they made us feel when it was good. We are craving the love. We are craving the companionship. We are craving the closeness and the intimacy that we experience with that person, not necessarily them themselves. And whenever this happens, I feel like it's really good to force yourself to remember the full story. Okay, yes, there was a day where you guys had an amazing day together, but what else happened that week, right? Was there something that came up that showed you that you guys were incompatible? Was there something that happened that highlighted to you that this person wasn't necessarily seeing you as a long-term partner, but seeing you as a placeholder for the relationship that they were really waiting on? So allow yourself to really see the past as it is for the full picture. And this is where we are talking about combing through the past with a fine-tooth comb. Don't just comb through with a wide-tooth comb, babes, and be looking for the happiness. Comb through with a fine-tooth comb and remember all of the details of the past, because if you go and you're just romanticizing the past during a retrograde period like this, it can be really easy for you to want to reach back out to that person, or for you to want to allow that person back into your life just off the basis of the good memories and not off the basis of the full story of your relationship with them. I'd also say a really good thing to do during this time is also ground yourself in the present. When we have a lot of this energy that's kind of like retroactive, it's the past coming up, we're being triggered, we're remembering certain things, like things are just happening to bring up the past. It's really, really important to stay grounded and rooted in the present. Yes, this happened in the past. Yes, you guys had this relationship. Yes, they were good to you, but like now you're single, or now you're in a different relationship, or now this is happening. And what can you do with the lessons learned from that past relationship? This is a great time to focus on your self-care routines, to focus on your future projects, to focus on things that you actually care about outside of this particular past situation that you are thinking about and possibly romanticizing. So if you're working on any projects that are related to like written word, spoken things, singing, just anything that has to do with like words or communication, again, because Mercury is retrograde, you might find it a little bit more difficult to navigate those projects. Like maybe you feel as if you are having writer's block, or maybe you feel as if it's hard to communicate what it is that you're thinking in a very succinct way, anything like that. But don't allow that to stop you. Just allow that to let you move a little bit slower. I think retrograde periods can also be really good for putting us in a place where we're just forced to slow down a little bit, because it doesn't mean that you shouldn't write the book during Mercury retrograde, but what it means is that maybe instead of going through and writing it so quickly and being channeled with this energy of moving quickly and fast-pacedness, you are writing the book and you're being a little bit more conscious and slow about the process. If you are considering inviting an ex back to your life, maybe they've reached out to you, or you are considering reaching back out to them, I want you to ask yourself one thing. What has changed? Well, maybe two things. Okay, so ask yourself, why did the relationship end? And what has changed to make it so that it wouldn't end that way again? When we go into the mode of romanticizing the past, we can often want to look at things with a very rose-colored glasses type of view, where we feel like, okay, well, it's been a year, it's been 6 months, like, you know, it's better timing for us. Things can definitely work out. But if that person is the same person that cheated on you, is the same person that forgot your birthday, is the same person that like never wanted to have deep conversations with you. If that person is the same person, then unfortunately, my love, like you getting into a relationship with them 6 months later, a year later, that is not going to change who they are. You're going to end up repeating the same dynamic and having to learn that lesson over again. And unless you want to waste your time, I would really sit and ask yourself, what has actually changed? There have been a couple of times where I've wanted to reach out to someone, and another question that I've had to ask myself and be honest with myself about is like, why? Why do I want to reach out to them? And when I really sat and I kept asking myself, why do I want to reach out to this person? I landed on the understanding that it was fear. My motivation to reach out, my motivation to check on them, to check in, to see if maybe they wanted to try this again, was never really rooted in missing them, but it was rooted in the fear that I wouldn't find another connection like that. And so it was kind of like, well, if I can't find anything like that, I might as well go back to what I had. That is a very scarcity mindset way of thinking. Watch my video on scarcity mindset if you don't know what scarcity mindset is. If you are literally thinking about reaching out to someone, not necessarily because you miss them, but you miss the feeling, you miss how they made you feel, you miss how they complimented you, you miss all of these specific things that someone else could provide. It's not anything specific to that person. And on top of that, you have a fear that you won't find that in someone else. I would caution you to reach out, because this is not driven by a genuine desire to be with that person again or a genuine desire to experience them, but this is built off a genuine desire to experience that connection. And connection doesn't only come from that particular person. You can connect with other people. There are billions of people on this earth that you can connect to. And just because you had a powerful connection with this person doesn't mean that that's the only person you can have a powerful connection to. I think it's really powerful to remember that there are options and to remember why we ended a relationship or why the relationship didn't work. Because if we really and truly sit with it, we will often find that although there's still love there, or maybe there's curiosity about that person, we really are at peace with our decision. And if you are at peace with your decision on most days, don't let that slip up simply because you go through 1 or 2 days where you're feeling kind of like, damn, I could use a hug right now and I don't have someone to give me that hug. I also feel like whenever I'm going through a stage or time where I've been single for a while and not talking to anyone and it's kind of just a little bit quiet, those are when the thoughts can pop up. So this could be a time for you where if you're seeing a lot of engagements and proposals and people outside and all these things, and Mercury retrograde is happening, and this is also around the time that you and your ex used to go to Six Flags, like this could, all of these things could be triggering you to want to revisit that relationship and to want to open that can of worms again. But if there is nothing that has changed, if there's still that same person, if you truly in your heart don't feel like there's anything that you could gain, that the relationship would have any legs to stand on if you were to start it again, leave them alone. Do not reach out to that person. I truly feel like there are multiple people for all of us that we could be in long-term relationships with if that is what your goal is. And so you have to really sit in an abundant place of mind, an abundant mindset, and recognize that this person isn't the end all be all. This was not your only chance at love. If you are super young, or even if you're older, like I really don't care how old you are, because age literally doesn't matter. It's all about timing. It's all about God's timing. And just because you met that person and had a phenomenal, explosive connection with them and it ended, doesn't mean that is your only opportunity to have a connection like that in your life. So yeah, my loves, Mercury is going to be stationed retrograde and it's going to be a time and a half. I'm already seeing myself experiencing the tech issues. I had like an issue at the gas station this morning. Girl, it's been a little bit of a mess, okay? My loves, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, even if you're not into astrology and you have no idea about any of the astrological things. Let me know if you like videos like this where I talk a little bit about some of the astrological happenings and how it can relate to things that are happening in our day-to-day lives as well. And I can do more videos like this because I'm super into astrology and I love to talk about it in my day-to-day life. So I would love to bring that conversation here to YouTube as well. But I want to thank you so much for watching this video, for being here, for chilling with me for a little bit. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you enjoy this content, if you enjoy my vibe, and I will chat with you in the next one. Don't forget to share this video with someone that you think might enjoy it and would also find it it super helpful. And yeah, my loves, I will chat with you guys in the next one. Bye.